Hey, folks, welcome to InTheMoneyStocks.com's daily analysis video, brought to you by the creators of proprietary price, pattern, and time methodology. Learn the PPT strategies and profit for life. My name is Gareth Soloway, Chief Market Strategist here at InTheMoneyStocks.com. All right, everybody, into the action we go today on this Tuesday, February 1st, 2022. And sure enough, we are seeing a nice little rally in the markets. Very small, very low float, kind of slight move to the upside here. But bottom line is S&P 500 spiders up about 30 cents on the day. You basically were treading up and down, positive to negative all day long. Little bit of a bullish consolidation flag pattern showcasing itself. Basically, you can see this, right? So you just connect those highs, you can connect these lows, and you had this little wedge pattern, and we've now broken out above of that wedge pattern coming into the end of the day. Now, markets, again, still have about, 30-plus minutes to go, so anything can happen, but in general, this pattern is dictating that we probably do float a little bit higher into the end of the day. Now, a couple things to go over on this chart. All right, so number one, let me just take a look at this. What we're seeing here is a little bit of a move to the upside, but look if I zoom out where we are, all right? We're in some key levels here. So zooming out on the intraday chart, number one, this is going to be a key resistance line, and that's basically what we're now into. So can we get above this level into the end of the day, potentially setting us up for one more big push that'll get us back to that channel, the retrace to the scene of the crime. That's going to be a big deal, folks. If we can get back there, that would be an absolute big deal for this market. Okay, so again, just watching that, but again, notice the level we are currently in, breaking out of that little wedge pattern on an intraday basis and pushing up here into the end of the day, but also into this resistance point. Now, again, as I said, if we get through that, where are we going to go? Well, there's some minor levels along the way. You see these little minor pivots right around 455, but ultimately the thinking has to be that we're heading right back to this level. If I flip back to the daily chart here, guys, we can see exactly where that is. And again, there you have it. So really, we're talking about a move up, potentially back to about 460, maybe just above 460. The 20 moving average I did throw in there because I do think that 20 MA is going to be a little bit of resistance now that we have broken below it so significantly on the daily chart. So again, you'll have a little resistance around 450, 4.5, 455. But after that, again, if we can get through that, you're looking at 460, 461 as a target. All right, now again, what's the likelihood we get up to that 460, 461? Well, probably around 50%. So it's not great odds because you have the 20 MA here, you have some other pivot points, you have this low pivot right here, which is just above the 20 moving average. And again, markets are getting a little long in the tooth. This is the third up day in a row. Granted, today's up day is certainly not a big up day, but again, we are up on the day. And again, just to rephrase that, I think I was saying we were only up 30 cents, but we're actually up about $2.10. That was just on that last candle on the intraday, but for the day, we are up about $2.20. Still not a big move, about 0.5%, but again, nonetheless, another update on Wall Street here. Okay, so a couple things to go over here. If we zoom out on the chart, you can see again, here was your big uptrend. Here's your break. Here's your retrace. The idea, again, max upside 460, 461, scene of the crime. That's going to be your maximum. Will I start shorting the market there? The answer is heck yeah, I will. All right, you guys know I'm a believer that we're in a downtrend. We're in a bear market, believe it or not. I believe that it's the early stages of a bear market. The Fed continues to tighten, even though the Fed you had some more dovish Federal Reserve presidents coming out with a little bit more, dovish chatter today. For the most part, they still want to at least get things back to normal, which means we're moving more liquidity from the market and raising interest rates. And that's going to put a little bit of pressure on the market, going to put pressure on PE ratios. And so you're not going to, in my opinion, see this market go back to all-time highs, especially after the technical damage has been done on the daily chart. All right. So again, keep that in mind. Having said that, you guys saw that I did have a great party today taking profits, remarkable profits. FSLY, 9.75%, almost 20% on Fubo. AI, almost 10%. Mera, 14%. SQ, 12.5%. And AFRM, almost 16%. So again, remarkable profits today. And that again didn't even cover pre-market when I sold Palantir and I also sold NVIDIA. So 8 winners today, folks. Amazing. Couldn't have knocked it out of the park any better. I love fear and greed because they're the two extremes. And when we were buying, and you guys saw how many, and I even remember in the video, last week when I was doing all this buying, I said, listen, I don't think there's ever been a point in my history where I put out so many buy alerts and bought so many stocks in one single day. It's because I saw what I saw. The PPT methodology, whether you're looking at price, pattern, time, psychology of greed and fear, all those signals were aligning, and that's why I got in. All right, and again, now we reap the rewards. Again, for some of you guys, I've heard it's your best day or couple days ever, and it just makes me very, very happy to hear that, folks. And again, definitely let's keep the ball rolling here. Let's keep the profits going. As long as volatility is here to stay, we will make a lot of money this year. Okay. Going to the QQQ chart here, daily Qs. Again, here was your support line down here. Big bounce here. 20 MA is coming up. I might even consider shorting the Qs by maybe buying QID again at the 20 MA. So just be aware of that. That's going to be a key level. We also have to monitor an upsloping trend line here, which is, I'm not going to draw it super accurately, but this would also be a level to watch, which is, again, just shy of 380, it looks like, on the current price. And again, still at $16 more of upside on the Qs. So I don't think we'll get there in a straight shot without a pullback, but obviously keep an eye on the earnings. So today we have AMD reporting, Google's reporting. I believe tomorrow is Amazon, and potentially Facebook. I got to see the exact dates, but we're getting some big earnings in the next few days, which should make for some very fun times in the technology area as well. It could either propel us up to that trend line, even through the 20 moving average, or if they're bad earnings, we could easily be dumping back down very, very quickly. All right. So let's keep an eye on that, on those earnings, and also keep an eye on the levels on the QQQ. Going to the Russell, I still am holding my TNA, which is doing very, very well as the Russell continues to advance. Russell up about almost 0.75% today. I still think the Russell at least gets back to the 20 moving average, which is in addition, you have these lows, right? So if you connect these lows here, look at that. It's kind of right in the same vicinity, right in here. That's where I'm thinking you have upside to on the IWM. And again, that's where I'm kind of eyeballing or close to it, where we'll take our profits on TNA. All right, couple other things to go over here on the charts. As we flip over to Bitcoin, Bitcoin's got some big things going on here. So Bitcoin is struggling right here. The 20 MA has gotten tagged today. There's a bigger trend line. So the 20 MA on this chart is actually minor. Learning what minor and major is a very big part of trading. I hope all of you do take the time to learn that at some point. But again, knowing when a trend line is minor or major is very, very important. What is major still, even if the 20 moving average is minor, is this line, pivot to pivot to pivot, and look at the high today on Bitcoin right into that line. That is a major trend line. The reason it's major is because you've never violated in terms of breaking through it yet. Sometimes you'll go through a trend line, you'll chop around a trend line. The more you hit it, the more minor it does become, but this one's still a major player. All right. If we get through this, Bitcoin goes 44 to 46,000 probably within a week, in my opinion. So a very big move could be in store in Bitcoin if it can break. If not, we could be retesting 33,000 very quickly and headed down to 30,000 and maybe even into the 20,000 range. I'm in the camp that this will break eventually. Maybe it takes a couple days at this point, but I do think, again, Bitcoin still has a little upside to it. Maybe, again, might just need to consolidate for a few days. Okay, let's see what else we have here. So I do want to be clear that, again, if tech continues to rally, Bitcoin probably continues to rally too, right? So, I mean, it's kind of tied together at this point. We have to understand that. So, again, if we are going to see more upside in Bitcoin, then likely tech still has a little ways to go. I do think Bitcoin will play catch up soon because the stock market has had a monstrous bounce, but just keep that in mind. Taking a look at gold. Gold, again, up a little bit today. We're basically back to 1,800 on spot. We're still stuck in the middle of this channel here. Nothing really new to report on this chart at this point. If we flip over to silver here, silver kind of the same thing, a little bit of a bounce today after a big, big drop here. Again, same thing. You're still kind of holding a couple trend lines here. If I zoom out here, I'll zoom out a little bit so we can get some lines in here. So number one, very short term, you have an upsloping trend line right there. Longer term, you also have this trend line here. So you're kind of just hovering in this short-term level. You also have this support right in here. at 22 on silver, and if silver breaks there, you're heading down to 19, all right? Again, as I've said to you guys, I'm not in silver specifically at this point, but if we got down to 19, I would be a big buyer there. Absolutely a buyer at that level. Lastly, let's take a look at WTI. WTI today, folks, last I checked, it was basically flat to slightly lower. Looks like, yeah, basically flat on the day here. Looks like it's up 2 cents right now. So not much going on there. A lot of eyes still on Russia and Ukraine. Obviously, that's a tinderbox. The question is, again, does anything happen? Does it get de-escalated? How does it all play out? And again, oil is building in a premium for the risk of invasion of Ukraine, but obviously it's not building in the full premium. If it did happen, you would see an initial response of oil, I'm sure, to $100. I mean, I'm sure there would be about a $10 pop on oil there if that did happen. So that'd be interesting. If that did happen, then honestly, I'd probably short more oil because I just don't think it's long lasting. And in addition, Saudi Arabia is on the kind of call button to pump out more if needed. At least that's what I've been hearing, that they've been kind of talking to the U.S. and kind of saying, hey, listen, we have this many spare barrels. We can make up for Russia if Russia does this. So again, my guess it would be a short reaction, a short-lived reaction, but obviously, something worth keeping an eye on. All right. If you do head higher, and we talked about this before, your short-term target would likely be this area here. And again, that's now, and this is, by the way, this is without Ukraine getting invaded. I mean, if you just continue higher, you're going to go right up to this line here, which to me, again, looks like it's right around, 91, 92. It's hard to see as it goes off my chart at this point. Okay. Let me just see if there's anything else on the radar here that I'm missing. I think for the most part, the only other thing I want to mention is I did short Exxon today, as you guys saw. Exxon's having a big move to the upside today. And again, I wanted to get in on this short. I have some big pivot points here that were coming into play. There's a level right up here, right around 82. There's a big pivot right in here. Short term, very extended chart. So this is where I start dipping my toe in the water, as you guys saw. By no means is it a full position, right? 2% of my portfolio on a stock like Exxon, I would be more than happy to go as high as 8%. So basically, we're talking a quarter share size position. But again, it was a place where with such a big move today, after such a big move up, it makes sense to get a little skin in the game. Even if it goes a little bit higher, there's a lot of resistance points coming up. Again, we've talked about, or I mentioned this one right here, which you pierced today. That's resistance. And then you have this one right up here, where's a gap fill, which you're basically into right here, or just shy of it, just above 82. So lots of resistance points coming into play now on Exxon. And again, the RSI on this has been above 70 for about 2 weeks and is north right now of 84. So that's obviously, you don't take RSI specifically as a signal by itself, but it certainly is something that you keep an eye on. All right, guys, I'm going to step aside. As always, a pleasure. I will keep you guys updated. Amazing profits today. I want to keep the ball rolling. Again, we need volatility for that, so hopefully we continue to get volatility, but I'm waiting and patiently waiting for technical levels to hit so we can take more trades. You guys have a great one. Enjoy those profits. Take